And welcome back to Project Independence in You here at WCWP.org, 88.1 FM, and WCWP Radio on an app. So there's a lot of different ways to listen to the show, and they're also archived. And Kristina can talk a little bit about that later in Talk of the Town. So we're now at our second hour of Project Independence in You. Our first hour we spent speaking with Greg Balbara, who is the owner of Right at Home. He's also a CSA, which is Certified Senior Advisor. And we were talking all about mental health, and it's just an endless issue, but a lot of good points that they had, and they do provide some terrific services, and really throughout all COVID, which I was surprised. I didn't realize that they were, kind of up and running the whole time and taking all the precautionary measures because, seniors that are living at home and need these services. So it was good to know that they're still up and running. Seniors were receiving the services. Also good to know that they too have done a lot of stuff with technology, and everybody's all on Zoom, and it seems like it's gonna, everything's gonna be a hybrid going down the road, going from all the programming for seniors and also people who are gonna be working at home and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna be speaking actually shortly with Nassau County Legislator Siela A. Bynoe. So we're really excited to hear from her and get some of the county updates. And then following that, of course, will be Talk of the Town with the wonderful Kristina Liu. Kristina, who is, of course, a radio show producer, and she is also the Senior Citizen Program Development Specialist for the Town of North Hempstead's Department of Services for the Aging Project Independence. Try saying that in one breath without doing breathing exercises.
She needs two business cards.
Not like it goes on the back. Turn
it won't
over.
fit on one card.
Kristina, of course, pulls the whole show together, like I was saying in the beginning. And then in the last hour of the show with Senior Talk Radio, when we talk about Talk of the Town, we talk about all of the stuff that's going in the town, and not just senior related. And we sometimes get off a topic and get close to talking about other things. So
quite often.
Shortly be speaking with Nassau County Legislator Siela A. Bynoe, and she's just coming on now. Hi there. Siela, got it. There
she is.
Hi. There she is.
Hi.
Welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday is right.
Happy Friday.
I have never met Silas, so I'm Otto Lawson. I'm a volunteer with Project Independence. It's a pleasure to meet with you.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Pleasure.
Right.
Thank you.
Otto is not just a volunteer, but he's been part of the Project Independence team since inception of Project Independence. So he was there.
He's on the brochure. That's how official he is. He's the face on the brochure.
Hey. I'm a big fan of Project Independence, and as I move around the region, I always talk about the success of Project Independence. So thank you for your commitment to serve and make sure that not only, you get the services that you're entitled to, but that, the greater town of North Hempstead receives that service. So thank you.
Well, it's very easy when you're working with a team that they have that runs the program. They are AAA as far as I'm concerned. So dedicated, professional, conscientious, honest, can't ask for more.
Otto. Keep coming, Otto.
Just end the show now. What follows that?
Well, it's true, all of it.
Siela, it's so good to see you, and thank you for all your support that you do give toward Project Independence. I've seen you at a lot of Project Independence events over the years, and as a North Hempstead person, it's just great to have you on the show now and kind of hear what updates you have for us from the county. I know that they're just you guys are so busy and just really taking over, doing some great leadership, especially with COVID, and we're just curious to hear what's going on.
Sure. Well, tomorrow I'm co-hosting a pop-up vaccination site right in the Newcastle community with Senator Kaplan and Councilwoman Viviana Russell. And we're going to be able to put about 500 plus vaccines in the arms of local residents, and really was a collaborative effort. As Otto said, you know, you can't do anything on your own. It's all about teamwork. And so the Westbury community came out in large numbers last week, and we were able to go into the crevices of the community to make sure that everyone is having access to the vaccine. So we had school teachers that came in on Saturday. We had civic leaders, we had church members, we had community organization volunteers that came out, and there was about 50 of us. And we walked door to door in the communities. We went into some of the apartments, especially those adjacent to the Yes We Can Center. Many of those individuals benefit from Project Independence. Some were vaccinated very early on in the process, but you know, some folks needed some time to get convinced or get more comfortable with the idea of the vaccine. And so that we went in and, you know, we went into the community and we knocked the doors and we provided the information, and we were able to, last week alone, I think, register about 150 people.
Wow.
And then we utilized our community stakeholder relationships to find some of the others. So I think we're at about 500 for tomorrow, and we're going to try and use that opportunity to encourage others to get vaccinated. So we're Senator Kaplan created what they call that step and repeat, you know, that big screen that people like to stand in front of and take their pictures and take their selfies. And so we're going to encourage folks to take their selfies and share it amongst their social media platforms or with their neighbors and community organizations to encourage people to come out and get the vaccine. We're trying to get to herd immunity, and we can only do that if we get more vaccines in the arms.
Is this for all age groups?
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful.
There was definitely a focus, you know, we want to make sure our most vulnerable populations. So we definitely, you know, tried to make a push for those that might be essential workers and most certainly our seniors. But yes, it's for all age groups that are currently eligible for the Moderna vaccine.
I just kind of curious, how do pop-ups happen? Like I heard about the effort that everybody put in that you talked about. I'm just curious, how does that come about? You know, how does a pop-up happen?
So they can happen through a variety of different avenues, but in this particular case, our Senator Anna Kaplan reached out to Rite Aid and asked them if they had, you know, vaccines that were available for community events, and they confirmed that they could come out and that they would. They were coming out to give Johnson & Johnson. And that's what we were out in the community advocating for, was the Johnson & Johnson shot. But, you know, we were able to make some changes, and now we have Moderna for tomorrow. But through Senator Kaplan's efforts in working with Rite Aid, and then contacting Viviana Russell and my office saying, you know, she'd like to collaborate because, you know, as a senator, she's responsible for, you know, a very large district. And so we have a more localized presence. So we were able to work with, and I'm sorry, I'm excluding, and I shouldn't do that because they are really the major host for tomorrow's event, the Westbury School District. Its board president, Robert Troiano, played a major role, who's also a local Westbury Newcastle resident, and we were able to bring together all these groups. We solicited their support. We contacted, in most cases, like the pastors of the churches and said, hey, listen, have any church volunteers? We even had youth volunteers. So the school district put out an all call to their students, and some of their students came out last week and were there, boots on the ground. So it takes, you know, the collaboration of finding the vaccine, finding the volunteers to go out into the community to find residents, and then it takes someone to host the venue. So that's how we can pull these things off.
That's great. It takes just a lot of effort, a lot of teamwork. Doesn't happen by going like that.
Absolutely. And we're going to try and draw a little attention. So we have a DJ who's going to be playing some music, and not that folks could walk in and get a shot tomorrow, but maybe they might walk in and say, like, how do I get a shot? And then we can put them in touch with, the county facilities that are currently giving shots.
That's great.
That's wonderful. Wow, you really guys pulled together a great pop-up. Of course, with the town, we've been doing pop-ups too, but it's been more generated by like Catholic Health Systems in Northwell. So, we provided some staff, but you guys really pulled together this in like a boots on the ground effort to, get 500 people. That's really great. And you get to do it all over again in 3 weeks.
Well, there you go. The special gift that we didn't expect. To see those faces yet twice. But and we'll be staffing the volunteers. We will all be staffing the check-in point, and we'll be working the event tomorrow, because Rite Aid really, they come with the team that just really will administer the vaccines. So it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day.
Sounds good. We'd love to hear about how well it goes.
Yes, we'll share pics.
Cool, great. One of the things we were talking about too with our previous guests, and we talk like with everybody, is how amazing is Zoom? How amazing is all this technology that we kind of, were thrown into because of COVID? So like we talk about how, there's some good things that come out of situations like this, and with our seniors, it's kind of forced a lot of them who've been hesitant, those that really have a computer and don't turn it on, or a smartphone, but don't really charge it, to get into it so they can take part in all the Project Independent stuff. And then of course, we have North Hempstead Television. So those that aren't tech savvy and really don't have it, and maybe are, we'll say super seniors, are just comfortable with their television, they can watch a lot of like Project Independence fitness classes and all that. So how have you kind of, like, what's your observation been with how technology, I mean, not just with seniors, but all the communities that you serve, how has that kind of changed the way you do things?
Yeah, so it really, just the other day, on Monday, we hosted a tax assessment seminar so that individuals could learn how to grieve their taxes if they feel that they're not taxed appropriately. And, normally we're in one of the senior centers. We typically go to the senior center and host these events. And it was different, right? We were on Zoom, but the benefit of that, I have to tell you, is that we're able to then record it and then upload the link to my legislative webpage. So what I found to be a benefit is that even if, folks can't be a part of the Zoom, you can always record these things now, place them on your website or post it on social media, and folks have, unlimited access to information that ordinarily would not have been available. So that's one of the benefits, I think, to the Zoom. And I think, as you mentioned, it's allowed for folks that wouldn't ordinarily be able to attend meetings to actually be in the know. So I'm getting more questions, I think, now than I ever have. We have more people that are watching, live streaming our legislative meetings, and just really, being engaged. My 92-year.
We have to take a quick break, and I want to hear all about it. We will be right back with Project Independence in You. We're talking with Siela A, Nassau County Legislator.
WCWP is your home for great music and great conversation. You'll find all that and more on WCWP.org. Listen live on the web, check out the lineup, subscribe to podcasts, and stay up to date on the latest station events. Get in touch with us and let us know if you like what you're hearing. And find out how you can support or get involved at the only community public radio station serving Nassau's North Shore. Plus, sign up to get a free bumper sticker. It's all online at WCWP.org.
And welcome back to Project Independence in You here at WCWP.org. We also have a great app, WCWP Radio, and that just brings you right to the show live. We've been speaking with Siela Bynoe, who's a Nassau County legislator and a North Hempstead person. We're just so happy to have you here with us. And before we went to break, we were talking a little bit about technology, and I like, your point was well taken that even if you can't hop on to a Zoom call or a meeting, you can always go to your website and click on the link. So it's just such a win-win for that. So.
Well, and I'd say it's very timely because apparently Governor Cuomo might be listening to our radio show currently. I just got notified as you guys were talking about technology that they're signing into law that internet providers are going to need to provide high-speed internet to low-income households. So I thought that, because that's a topic I know of Project Independence that comes up is that, this is kind of the way to the future. But unfortunately, some people aren't unable to afford that, and then with remote learning and working from home, all these things. So that was a good thing. So we'll see where that kind of unfolds.
Right. Seniors who are on a fixed income weren't planning for internet access when they were, planning their future.
Right. So now that's going to be an option, with these internet providers, I think will be great. So
I think that's wonderful.
Great. Thanks for a little
hot topic, hot news, newsflash.
More good stuff.
Well, since we're just throwing things out here, I was reading that you're involved with several community grievance workshops. And what I like about that idea, frankly, is that it enables open communication within the communication with the people who maybe can do something about it, or frankly, maybe say, no, we can't do anything about it. And that's just the way it is, which is also an answer. Maybe some people won't accept it, but sometimes that is the answer. So I was just curious as to your exposure to that and what types of grievances you heard.
Yeah, so, the workshops were provided through the Office of Assessment, and they were very informative. They had each person who participated had an opportunity to ask questions. While not live through audio, they were able to put their questions in the chat, and all the questions were answered. Again, the videos is uploaded so people can watch it over and over if there's parts of the tutorial that they feel that they need to review, they can do that. What we're finding is that, through the reassessment, families are looking at their assessed value, and they're finding some things that need to be tweaked, things that changed in their community, maybe from the time that the reassessment was done. There's developing happening across Nassau County. So there were one or two folks that, had developments that were built around them, and they felt as though that would impact their assessment. And we also had a couple of folks that felt as though when they looked at their comparables, the sales prices of the homes that sold around their property or that were similar to their property, they felt that the prices were skewed. So they were going to be able to address those things. The beauty of those assessment seminars and workshops is that folks don't have to engage a third party, and
exactly
part of their savings then goes to pay that third party. So that's part of the benefit of having these assessment workshops. And, we're seeing that people are still, applying for grievances in record numbers. And Otto, you're right, everyone who files is not going to, be successful. And sometimes the answer, is going to have to be, no, we feel that you're assessed appropriately. But there's going to be a huge effort to make sure that they get out and review some of these concerns so that, we can serve the residents appropriately during this process.
Okay.
Siela, so what other stuff is going on at the county that would be like, just some good information, not just for the seniors, but this is the talk of the town segment too, where we just are providing really good information, any kind of helpful information, like, and even how to get in touch with you and what areas specifically you're covering.
Sure. I pick up a part of Hicks. I'm actually one of the few legislators that represents a part of all three towns. So I pick up a part of Hicksville, which would be
Lucky you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
That picks up part of the town of Oyster Bay. And so then I come out and I pick up the village of Westbury where I reside. So, and then I pick up all of Newcastle, which is part of the town of North Hempstead. Then I go out and the rest of the district is really in the town of Hempstead and the village of Hempstead. So I pick up Uniondale, and then I pick up all of a big part of Hempstead. Then I pick up all of Lakeview and a part of Rockville Center. So the district is,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty expansive. And the needs of the district changes as I go through the different communities. It's been a labor of love. I work very closely with, the three towns to make sure that the services are being delivered, and then the two villages that are also part of the district. Right now we're in recovery mode at the county. We're trying our best to create programs that come out that will be able to help small businesses, that would be able to help those that are looking for jobs. Next week, where the county is going to be hosting a fair, a job. I believe it's next week. Don't hold me to it. It'll be up on my website at the legislature. But we're going to be hosting a job fair to let people know about what opportunities are available in county government. So we know that people are hurting out there. In terms of being able to be gainfully employed. And we know that our small businesses need us more now than they ever have, given all the restrictions and that have limited their ability to, be as accessible and be as available to their patrons as they usually would be. So there are definitely programs that are rolling out, and I suspect with the additional funding that we'll be getting from the federal government, there will be more programs. We also created a rental assistance programs for those that became late with their rent. We are reviewing those applications and we'll be able to fund some of those rental arrears directly to the landlord to assist them in being able to maintain their homes.
I'm sure there's been a lot of that. And a lot, yeah. So that sounds like a great program. I'm still just in shock that you're responsible for 3 towns, 2 village cities, and
Very diverse.
So like Otto said, it goes right back to what Otto says, right? I'm only as good as my team, right? And so I really, the collaborative efforts with, leadership like the town of North Hempstead that I enjoy here with, Supervisor Judy Bosworth and Town Councilwoman Viviana Russell, the village mayors and the trustees and just my, my office staff right now, which is a one band member. I have one staffer right now. We're looking to maybe expand a little bit more, but during COVID, my one staffer and I, we pulled it off. I would go in and, when I could, answer phone calls with him, especially when we were getting bombarded with calls about COVID. I was working from home trying to add names to lists. And then in the Hempstead portion of our district, the state came out twice, given the density of that community. They came out twice and did 2 pop-ups. And we walked those buildings, apartment buildings in Hempstead to make sure that our seniors, in particular, we walked 2 senior facilities and some of our family buildings to make sure that we were able to get people vaccinated. So it's a teamwork effort. It's effort that requires a lot of collaboration, but when the heart of the people are in service, you'd be surprised how much you can get done.
You know,
Yes.
I'm kind of thinking that another topic that's going to come up is once COVID simmers down, cannabis, recreational and medical is going to become a hot potato, if you will. You know, how to, like I could read, you know, the state says this, and a lot of local governments basically are saying, no, we have our own opinion on this. So I can visualize somebody like yourself getting pretty deep into that eventually.
So what we have now is that the way the law was included in this budget that rolled out is that the local municipalities, so the 3 towns here in Nassau, will make a decision as to, you know, how they plan to deal with cannabis. The Nassau County Legislature just this past Monday, we passed a bill unanimously to restrict any open use of marijuana in our parks and in our public spaces. So we are committed to make sure that, you know, when young people and families are in our parks, that they will not have to be troubled with the smell or ingestion of marijuana from others that might want to use in our parks. So we'll be restricting that. It passed unanimously. It'll come up to the full it passed unanimously in our committees, and it'll come up in our full legislative session on April 26th, which I suspect it'll enjoy a full complement of the entire body to support its implementation.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to say that, wait, we have to take a quick break, but Siela, you are a true advocate in housing, education. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it's just wonderful to have you on. And
Yeah, we have to have Celia back on to talk about housing, because John and I off air always talk about your work with the housing. So
I would love to. I would love to.
So we unfortunately have to take a quick break, and we will be right back with Project Independence and You.
Thank you.
Take WCWP with you wherever you go with the WCWP app. Listen live 24/7 to all of our streams, all from one app. Plus, call the studios directly from the app and visit our social media. Download the app through the iOS App Store on Apple devices or the Google Play Store on Android by searching WCWP Radio, or visit WCWP.org for links. The WCWP app, available now on iOS and Android devices.
And welcome back to Project Independence in You. I'm Rebecca Miller, your guest host for Project Independence in You. Today, WCWP.org at 88.1 FM. And we had another great show. Our first guest was Greg Balbera and from Right at Home. And we were talking a lot about mental health issues in the geriatric community. We did learn a lot, and I'm sure Kristina will have him back again. And then we were just speaking with Nassau County Legislator Siela A, Bynoe, and she gave us some updates on some vaccinations that are happening in the Newcastle area, which was terrific. Real boots on the ground effort, door-to-door knocking, bringing out the community. And they managed, I think she said 500?
Yes, 500.
They managed to get 500 vaccines, and we did learn a little bit some more, I'm sure. I know, Kristina, you're going to have Siela back on too, but now it's talk of the town, the Kristina Lou, only 30 minutes remaining, but
I know, it's
what's
okay. I'll share it with Celia anytime. You know, I mean, she's really doing, and we've been fortunate to, you know, previous weeks, I think for 3 or 4 weeks, we've had on County Executive Laura Curran. And I mean, I think what we've shown is that, you know, Nassau County and North Hempstead has some really amazing elected officials who are doing, you know, absolutely wonderful things. And their heart is in the right place. You could hear, you know, when Celia talks, you know, that she had, you know, a commitment and the heart and care to kind of get all these different pieces pulled together and, you know, and pull the whole community. And I love that she had, you know, religious leaders, the school district, you know, and that's really at the end of the day, what it's all about, you know, to get these programs to work. So it's really wonderful. So it was great job, guys. Very informative. I couldn't believe that we're at, here we are with only a half hour left. So great
Here
show.
we are, half an hour left, at the end of April. Where's time going? What have you done with time, Otto? Where did you send it?
Well, I never met Siela before, and I think she's a very lovely lady from my exposure just now. I think she's easy to talk with, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. So it's just important to, and I want to give out her phone number for her office again is 516-571-6202. So that's the number for her office, which is great. So wonderful job. And I just want to say that while this was all going on, we are now booked for June. Otto, you are going to be very happy as per your request. We do a lot of promoting, obviously, on North Hempstead, different departments and programs. And of course, we always get into the hot topic of recycling. We spent a good day, talking about number 5 plastics. And I was just talking to Mike Kelly, who's the executive director over there and the commissioner of the SWAMA department, and he's going to come on to give us the ins and outs of everything. And he was like, I don't know if I could really go into detail. I was like, we actually want the detail because we've tried to figure this out, kind of on our own. So to hear the actual facts about, just the importance of keeping everything clean and green in North Hempstead. So we are fully booked in June. So we'll be promoting all those shows soon. A lot of great guests. So
I have another topic to think about. I've been reading a lot about the AARP comes out with these monthly magazines and basically a big thing that has a lot of really good stuff in it. And one of them is right now they're hot on scams and how they operate. And the thing that I still is a gray hole to me, and maybe you know the answer, I'm a crook. I set you up. And I
thought Otto was confessing to us, Rebecca.
No, I'm playing the role here. And
I got a little nervous.
Well, they said one of the biggest ways that people process to get paid on these scams is gift cards. All right. And I have a blank up here about how you do that. Like Rebecca, I say, Rebecca, get me a $400 gift card for Home Depot, or your computer's going to break down with that bug that I put in there. Okay, so Rebecca's now going to think about sending. How do you get the gift card to me?
I don't know. I think it's electronic, and I think it's like those green dot or whatever they're called. So it's more of like
it's an e-card
kind of credit card, right? Kind of concept.
But then that has to go to an email address,
right? Well, that's what I'm assuming.
And can't they track that email address down?
Yeah, we'd have to find out.
If it's mine, they can.
Yeah, we're all coming from an innocent place that we're not scamming people.
Right. Yeah, but I'm an older person who's been scammed. I don't have a email. I picked up the phone, and you told me my grandson is locked up in Rochester in jail, and you got to send me $1,000, but you can only do it with a gift card because I don't take.
That's a good
credit
question.
Cards.
Because that's really because most of it is the gift card. You always see.
But how does somebody?
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's the piece that I'm thinking now. Okay,
Well, here's what I would do. Not that I'd ever done it, but I mean, that senior scam where people are calling, they were talking about wiring money. I don't think that's through the credit card of your grandson. That's been around for a while. Mm-hmm. They use that panic tactic. You have to go right now. You have to get a gift card, and we'll meet. Someone they're brazen. They'll even meet someone and grab the card. And if they do have a smartphone, they can take a picture of both sides of the gift card, and that can be utilized right away in any format quickly.
But I only have a flip phone.
Yeah. You have a flip phone?
No, I'm just role playing.
Playing a lot of roles, Rebecca. Haven't you caught on? He's playing all different roles.
Okay, got it. Sorry,
So I can't take a picture of the gift card.
I'm
just curious as to
quite a while.
How does the financial transaction of a scam take place without the person who's getting the money or the gift card or whatever not get caught? like if you wire money, it's got to go somewhere, and somebody has to pick up. Maybe I don't know. It has to go into an account, or it has to go to a Western Union office or whatever. That's where I always have a problem. How
Yeah,
come
it's
they
a good
can't?
question. I don't know.
Yeah, how come they can't track where this thing goes? And like I read one just last night actually. Somebody said, okay, put $1,000 in an envelope and wrap it up with a lot of paper and stuff. But then even then, I have to mail that envelope or use Federal Express or whoever to get
Right.
the envelope somewhere. What we
Yeah.
need is a good crook to call us and tell us, how did they do this?
Yeah.
Well, you
like
know
a
what? In the
report
scam
someone.
press, I could ask, the people that do our scam presentations. I could certainly find out because that's important to realize too. Dan said we're gonna need to get a detective or expert in these scams on the show. So, but we have people that have done presentations. So I definitely, because I think it's important also to be aware of that because, certain things might be a red flag. So that's a
Well,
very.
they said that like 90% of the scams nowadays are done with gift cards.
Mhm.
And so I'm thinking, okay, a gift card. Where do I send the gift card? If it's electronic, if I have to mail it, where am I mailing it?
I'm assuming with these email addresses too, there's probably like they're able to kind of quickly like get rid of it and roll over. I'm assuming that's kind of how it could work, that you get it and then kind of just keep like rolling them out. So
I mean, they're so pros. You're gonna, go buy a $1,000 Visa, MasterCard, or American Express
Mhm.
gift card. Take pictures of both sides and email it to this
Yeah.
email address, which is gonna, the second they receive it, they're gonna print it or whatever they do with the picture and then delete that email account.
And you know what it is too? These are all very, unfortunately, we've been talking about this for years, scams, and it's something that we can't really get ahead of it, but what we can do is educate people. So I think the most important thing to know is that if you have been scammed or think you might have been scammed is to always report it. I mean, obviously you could always call 311 and we can get you into contact, with different divisions depending on where it is.
Well,
to
a
report it.
definite red flag that something is a scam is if somebody's asking you to pay with a gift card.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
a scam. There's
Yeah.
no legitimate situation that's
True.
going to ask to be paid with a gift card.
Right.
And that's what they seem to use as their number one payment method. As far as Visa and MasterCard and all the major banks, I read again that the crooks are trying to avoid them. They don't want to get involved with the big players because they will track them down.
Right. But I mean, if you hear of, there's like at a collection agency or there's even like they use familiar names to you and they're like, you can simply just pay us by getting a gift card. I mean, it's just not any business is going to do that.
Right.
You just have to really hang up the phone
Yeah, it's a
or,
crook.
call, take 2 seconds and call Honda or call whoever they say they're calling from and get, a legitimate number confirmation that, you are in arrears or whatever the claim is.
Yeah, I think that's the message right at the moment. We don't know how they handle them, but the bottom line is no legitimate business gets paid with gift cards,
Right.
Period. So if you're going to be paid, but somebody asks you to pay with a gift card, hang up, get the information, call the officials in the town or the government, whoever, that you've been scammed, but you didn't pay them because you didn't send them a gift card. I
There you
think
go.
that's the message for right now until we figure out how the crooks process these gift cards.
There
I
you
was
go.
on a long drive a couple of weeks ago and I was listening to the Comedy Channel. And this comedian came on and he was hysterical. He was talking about scams and he was talking about the warranty phone calls that everybody's getting on their car. And, they call and they're like, listen, my car's 36 years old. I have 250,000 miles. If there's a warranty on this car, I'll take it. What do you want of my car? What? Tell me, what is it? I'll do it.
Yeah, but usually they'll only call once because this is your last chance.
Right. It's your last chance.
It's always your last chance. We
Right.
laugh about it all the time.
We're going to
on this.
close the file. Phew, thank you.
Right.
What a relief.
They never do they?
Well, I have to say, what has been actually interesting, which I've been finding on my cell phone, is that, it's been pretty recent. It's that new feature where your phone doesn't even, they silence a call that looks like spam or junk,
Potential spam. Yeah.
So I actually got it when we were on the radio show. And it didn't even, because I was looking, I was like, what, I have a missed call? But it was, because they, through there. So hopefully as technology grows, we could kind of protect as much as we can, certain things that get through. So I thought that
I have a scam call that I can play.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Just make sure it's the right one. Doesn't give out too much information.
I turned the volume down so you can't hear it because we're on here. Wait a minute.
That's not a flip phone. So we're listening for Otto.
Yeah, we're listening for a scam.
A message that's a
Okay.
spam or a scam call. But we're going to have to wait until after the commercial break, Otto, to hear this commercial because we have just a few seconds left. So we will be right back with Project Independence at Senior Talk Radio, WCWP.org, for the last 15 minutes of Project Independence, and you will be right back.
So I get this call from my grandma, and she's like,
"What's a podcast and how much does it cost?"
So I tell her, podcasts are like radio shows, but you can download them on any device and listen to them anywhere at any time, and they're free. And then she says,
"I see, but where can you find good ones?"
And I'm like, go to wcwp.org/podcast and check out the lineup of original shows, or download any podcast app on your phone or tablet and search for LIU Studios. And she's all like,
"Oh, that sounds easy."
And then she asked me what an app is.
LIU Studios podcasts, available on any podcast app. Those little button things on your phone screen. Just ask your grandkids.
And welcome back to Project Independence and You here at WCWP.org. I'm Rebecca Miller, your guest host for today's show, along with Otto Los, our Project Independence incredibly fabulous co-host. And of course, Kristina Liu, the radio show producer extraordinaire who brings these shows together every single week. So I think Otto is ready to play.
Ready, I'm ready.
Scam
Here we
call.
go.
There are legal enforcement actions filed against you, and your social security number is being suspected for fraudulent activities. So once you get this message, kindly press 1 as soon as possible before we begin with the legal proceeding against you. Thank you.
Could you make it out?
Yes, I heard the gist of it about the Social Security.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and there's a bazillion like that. And I think that it's important to, report that because unfortunately, we might not be able to certainly track down, but if people are educated as to what to look out for, then hopefully they won't get scammed in the end. So you did your part, Otto, and educated the public. I want to let people know, since we were on our last segment, that next week we have another wonderful guest on from the Sid Jacobson JCC, Risa Braffman, who's the program coordinator over at the Nancy Marks Cancer Wellness Center. So they're going to be talking about kind of how they switched over and now what they're doing during this COVID time when a lot of things were in person. They're doing wonderful, wonderful programs. I know John Ryan, our host, has worked with them a lot in the past, and they're doing wonderful work. So they will be filling us in about all that. So that's certainly exciting stuff. And I want everyone to know, Beck had mentioned in the beginning that if you missed an episode, it's impossible to not re-listen to us now. We certainly have all different, ways to listen. You can go to the Project Independence and You radio show website. You just go to Town of North Hempstead and you'll see Project Independence and it'll pop you right up to that homepage. And we have archived audio, so you can listen to it, or if you want to watch the Zoom video, you could also watch those. It is also on the WCWP YouTube page. So if you're on YouTube and you stumble upon it, you could listen to that too and share it with other people, which I think is great. I know all the time I'm constantly saying, check this out. And it just creates a way to kind of share things. Great. And you could also catch it on North Hempstead TV It's on at like 9 and 2, I believe. And, you know, it repeats throughout the day. So if you can check the North Hempstead TV website or call 311 for schedules for that too. And obviously you can listen to us live if you so want to.
I must share a tidbit. So a couple of days ago, we had a senior come in from Project Independence, and she was looking to speak with a social worker. She wanted to talk, and of course, we, because we're not open to the general public, we just kind of spoke at a distance. And she goes, "You're Rebecca." And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I saw you on, North Hempstead television." I said, "Oh, yeah, yoga instructor." And she goes, she goes, no, on the show, talking. You were talking." And I'm like, I got my first person.
Oh, I love it. Did you sign an autograph? Do you want me to we'll print up headshots? You could just sign them out and pass them to the.
Begged her to let me sign an autograph.
Did you sign a Project Independence brochure, Beck?
No, Paula was next to me, and she goes, "Oh yeah, she's yoga." And she goes, "No, not yoga." So
no, well, that's and I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, and that's as we always say, the positives that kind of came out of this COVID situation. It opened this forum that we were not doing before, so having it on TV that people, if they're, especially now, people are home, so they're flipping through the TV.
Yes.
And they see it, and it's what's great is that it actually opened it up to not just seniors. There's people who I've actually received phone calls from saying, "Oh, I watch it with my daughter, or my granddaughter liked this topic, who is the guest?" So I think that, is why we kind of spun it to a community talk show, really is what it's over evolution of the show it's been. So
Now I have a question, all right? How many calls do you really get a week about the show?
Well, you get close. I wouldn't know. It depends on, honestly.
You don't keep a log?
No, and it's because it's here and and most people aren't going to call about it. You know what I mean? It's if they just need a particular thing. Dan puts up the information at the end of each show, really, that has, the phone numbers or the websites. So most people aren't going, in reality, but it certainly has increased over COVID, which I think is great. So.
Well, Dan has made the videos good also.
Absolutely. No, well, that's what it's fun to watch, and it's great topics. And, what I say too is that our social workers and nurses, they're able to now kind of be introduced to new things in the community that they might not have realized. So now those services are going to be able to be provided to people that, may not have before. So it really kind of builds on that whole community aspect of spreading the word there's great programs out there. Unfortunately, you don't even know how to access some of them. So being on this show is kind of a great time for them to talk in depth about whatever their program might be and tell you how to get connected. So,
and since this is airing on North Hempstead Television, Kristina, I think you can add TV producer on there too.
Oh, I like that. Beck, I like that. I'm going to change that up. I'm into that.
It's funny now, was it 2 days ago? I think it was. Blue Bloods was doing a video at a farm in Old Brookville. And I said, well, big deal. You know what? They had 200 people there and all kinds of equipment. I forget the number of trucks. It was like 12 trucks of stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, like you just commented, and Kristina can add TV producer. We don't have any equipment and we don't have any trucks. But I thought about that and I'm saying 200 people to do a segment of Blue Bloods in Old Brookville. I think about what's involved when I do these TV shows. And we do it with a staff of Dan.
I like that. Well, see, that's what we're just, we're so grassroots over here. We're able to pull these things off. But yeah, so please call 311 if you have a topic or someone that would be a great guest. Those are some of my favorite guests to schedule. Someone says, "Oh my God, my doctor, he's so great at this," and that's really how we've had some of the best interviews on the show. So call 311 or 869-6311 if you want to comment or you have a topic you want or a guest, whatever it might be.
I have to give a shout out to the staff here at Project Independence, Department of Services for the Aging, and Community Services. So I'm doing the show from my office here at.
Oh, so you have to give a shout out because they might be listening at the door. Is that what's going on?
Listening,
They're all,
but that they have been so quiet.
I
think
know.
Them all. I'm like, now, Rebecca's going to be doing the radio show. I need everyone just from 10 to 2 to play nicely and be quiet. They're great, and they're just so great, and they're all here working. We're back to our office, and working hard, and I wanted to give a shout out to them, to my office mates here.
That's right. It's a great group. They're
not clapping out there, so I don't think they're listening. So I'm taking it back.
Well, it's all right. This is recorded back, so you can play it for them at a later date. And I have to give a special shout out while we're doing this to Dan, who in last week's show we were discussing two of my nieces, and he actually incorporated a beautiful photo of me with them, and I showed it to them yesterday, and they were so excited to know that they were featured on TV and on the radio show. So thank you, Dan, for that beautiful editing job you did. It was really, really wonderful. So and so we have little girl fans now, so they are 5 and 3. So we have I think our youngest fans yet.
That is so cool.
Really great. Yeah.
And the great thing about working with Kristina and her creativity and going beyond, and when it's your birthday or it's your any time of year, she always has the greatest gifts that only make sense to you. And in my office, I'm always asking people for chocolate. It's just my thing. It gets to a certain time of day, so she on the radio, you can't see it, but I'll hold it up. She made this little framed in like glass, a last chance dark chocolate mini candy bar. So these are just to give you an idea of the effort that Kristina puts into you to make you feel so special. Thanks.
Well,
very creative lady.
Little Kristina tidbit.
A little golden nugget about Kristina.
Golden nugget, right? Golden nugget.
But yes, and you guys, what we could all stay tuned for is that I know everyone laughs at my random projects that go on. We discussed the cleaning of the garage. I guess it was 2 weeks ago.
The dumpster.
Yes, and we're just nonstop, because if anyone knows me, they know I don't sit still. So you could listen to our latest project. My husband and I have completely ripped out all of our stuff in our bedroom. We are putting floors down. We're repainting. We got new furniture. So my house, it looks very nice back here, with my very clean wall. If you looked into my living room, there's our bed. Our mattress is right in the middle of the living room with all of my bedroom stuff. I had no idea how much stuff I actually had in my bedroom until it was taken out of my bedroom. So it's quite the living arrangement we have going on, but it's a fun project that we're doing around the house to kind of have a refresher, which has been fun. So that is the latest Kristina project of the week, on top of moving my baby brother out of our house, which was traumatic enough. But it's all good. So I think that is always our message, is find a fun little project around the house, whatever it might be for you.
Right.
And to just stay busy, because I think that's really what it's all about.
Active.
Yes.
Action.
Project Family Newsletter is moving forward.
Oh, there's Otto. See, that's Otto's latest project. I like that.
Right.
Good. Did you delegate the newsletter yet, Otto, to someone?
Actually, it's coming in slow. Each household has to give a delegate.
Oh.
My new 13-year-old grandson, he's not new, but he turned 13 yesterday. He's a teenager now. He's the delegate for his house, so that's a good thing. And he just got his first smartphone for his birthday yesterday, which he never had before. So I'm sure he's happy about that. I have not talked to him since.
And nor will you.
I'm waiting for a phone call.
Well, now he is the delegate of the Los Family newsletter, which I am so all about, Rebecca. Were you on the show back when we discussed the...
No, this was last week.
That's what Otto's family, they decided they were going to put together this quarterly newsletter, digital newsletter. so that they could all stay connected and informed, because everyone's all over at different places. So
Well,
I
that's
think
a wonderful, wonderful idea. And I hope, Otto, you keep sharing how that progresses and how
Yes.
the family helps, and I'm sure they will. But we're done. Like, the show's over. We have just a few seconds. Thanks again to our guest, Greg Balbera. Also, Nassau County Legislator Siela A, Bynoe, Kristina Wu, Otto Lewis.
Thank you, my dear.
Best to John. And next week looks like a great show. I know, Kristina, you went over that, and hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful, safe weekend. You were listening to Project Independence in You, Senior Talk Radio, WCWP.org.